Oscar Piastri didn't just kick off the Qatar weekend with a sprint pole. He reignited a championship fight that looked like it was slipping away from him for nearly 3 months. For the first time since late August, he looked like a driver capable of steering his own campaign back into contention, not someone reacting to circumstances or watching rivals take control. After 7 straight race weekends without a podium, watching a once comfortable 34-point lead vanish, and being dragged level with Max Verstappen following the high-profile Las Vegas disqualification, Piastri arrived in Qatar needing something much more meaningful than raw pace. He needed certainty, self-belief, a declaration that he was still in this battle on his own terms. And that attitude became unmistakably clear when McLaren revealed they had internally debated whether team orders might be necessary for the final phase of the season, only for Piastri to shut that down immediately with a single word: no. That refusal became the defining backdrop for everything that followed on Friday. From the moment practice began, Piastri drove with the confidence of someone who had decided he wouldn't be reduced to a supporting role. He matched Lando Norris throughout practice, handled the tricky wind and sliding conditions, and delivered 2 composed sprint qualifying laps even after a sharp snap of oversteer at turn 4 nearly threw his MCL 39 off the track. The pole was earned, not inherited, on a day when Norris ran wide at the final corner and when Verstappen's Red Bull struggled with harsh bouncing that compromised both phases of his sprint qualifying. What Piastri produced was more than a return to speed. It was a message to McLaren and to the entire grid. He isn't stepping aside for anyone, not even in the most intense section of the title fight. With Norris still 24 points ahead and Verstappen experiencing his strongest stretch of form all season, Piastri knows he cannot afford a single chaotic weekend. But the question looming over the garage is much deeper than the points table. Is Piastri's firm rejection of team orders the spark of a genuine resurgence, or the start of an internal tension that could give Verstappen the opening he needs? Since Formula One returned from the summer break, Piastri's results had taken a sharp downer. Verstappen had racked up 179 points over 8 race weekends, finishing every Grand Prix on the podium and collecting 4 wins. Norris scored 115 in that same span. Piastri managed only 82. His last podium was at the Dutch Grand Prix, the race where he built his maximum lead of 34 points. That lead is now gone, and during those weeks, the momentum inside McLaren swung sharply toward Norris, while Verstappen's surge forced the team into a more conservative, defensive strategy mindset. Then came the Las Vegas double disqualification. Both McLarens were thrown out because of excessive plank wear, with team principal Andrea Stella revealing that a failed sensor on Piastri's car caused the team to lose one of the crucial data points used to detect grounding levels. Without it, McLaren didn't fully recognize how severe the porpoising was until it was too late. Stella admitted they saw quickly that the bouncing was producing unusually high plank wear, and while Norris attempted lift-and-coast measures, they weren't strong enough to prevent the penalty. The disqualification wiped away Norris's second place and what would have been Piastri's P4, narrowing the title picture dramatically. Verstappen slashed the gap from 42 points to 24 and moved level with Piastri, something Piastri himself acknowledged was a net negative, even though he avoided losing more to Norris. Within any top organization, such a weekend triggers discussions about team priorities. And that is exactly where the story took a dramatic turn. McLaren confirmed that they had internally considered whether Piastri should begin supporting Norris's title hopes, especially with Verstappen climbing rapidly into contention. But both Stella and Piastri immediately rejected the idea. Stella reiterated McLaren's long-held stance. The drivers race freely unless the mathematics make an alternative unavoidable. And Piastri was direct. We talked about it briefly, and the answer is no. I'm tied with Max on points, and I still have a real chance if things fall my way. Verstappen, hearing the story, gave the bluntest interpretation possible. He told the media, "If that was said to me, I wouldn't show up. I'd tell them to F*** off. If you're a real racer, you go for the win, even if you're behind." Classic Verstappen. Straightforward, unapologetic, and extremely aware of the pressure he is placing on both McLaren drivers. He remains the outsider in the points, but he also knows that by keeping both McLarens uncomfortable, he forces them to make decisions that could backfire. That intensity made Piastri's Friday performance even more meaningful. In the only practice session, he immediately looked settled, topping the timesheets by 0.058s over Norris. The McLaren looked edgy on the hard tires early on, but the moment both cars switched to softs, the pace unlocked. Sprint qualifying then confirmed that momentum. Piastri's 1 minute and 20.055 seconds pole lap came in two phases: a banker lap that placed him in the fight, and a final attempt where he recovered from losing 2/10 at turn 4 after the rear stepped out aggressively. "Turning left in a right-hander is never ideal," he joked afterward. Norris, meanwhile, produced strong speed but made a mistake at the final corner on his last run, falling behind George Russell. "The pace was there. I just made a mistake," Norris said. "I'd love to win, but overtaking here is basically impossible, so P3 is probably the most realistic outcome." Norris wasn't exaggerating. Qatar has long been a difficult track for overtaking. That means qualifying is about half the battle, making Piastri's pole extremely valuable. Starting ahead keeps him clear of a Mercedes or Aston Martin roadblock, which could otherwise allow Norris to edge away. It also places Verstappen at a distance, and that is critical because the Red Bull looks unsettled here. Verstappen reported extreme bouncing and said the RB20 suffered from aggressive understeer that flipped into oversteer at high speed, similar issues to Las Vegas, signaling that Red Bull's optimal ride height window is narrower than McLaren's. Even so, Red Bull has an advantage: strategy. Qatar's mandated two-stop rule, due to tire degradation concerns and Pirelli's 25-lap stint limit, removes bold one-stop gambles but increases opportunities for strategic pressure. More pit stops mean more moments for Red Bull to force McLaren into mistakes. McLaren's biggest vulnerability isn't pace. It's managing two drivers who are both in the title hunt. Jacques Villeneuve summarized it bluntly: they can't use one to help the other yet. When you're on the defensive, you make poor decisions. The Las Vegas incident was already an example. Running too low, taking risks, pushing too hard for marginal gains. Now, with Verstappen right behind both drivers, every call matters for both sides of the garage. And Piastri's refusal to accept a supporting role complicates that. It means McLaren cannot simplify strategy by protecting Norris. Everything must be earned. Norris must win on pure merit. Piastri must beat both his teammate and Verstappen outright. And all three know the mental game is just as critical as the on-track one. Piastri admitted the past few months have been tough and filled with moments where things just haven't gone my way. Norris said the Las Vegas disqualification hurt, but insisted he moved on quickly. Verstappen stated clearly that there are no excuses for running a car too low, showing complete emotional detachment from the penalty, something that contrasts with McLaren's defensive explanations. In Qatar, these three mindsets collide: Piastri's assertiveness, Norris's attempt to stay calm, Verstappen's relentless, bulldozing chase. With 2 rounds remaining, the margins are razor thin. Norris could technically seal the title this weekend if he outscores both rivals by 2 points. Verstappen needs wins or maximum sprint points. Piastri needs precision, speed, and zero chaos, something he finally showed again on Friday. The last time he looked this confident was at Zandvoort, where he won decisively. Every weekend since then brought new setbacks: traffic in qualifying, tire limits, strategy errors, or simply being beaten by Norris on raw pace. Qatar's layout suits him better: flowing medium high-speed corners, strong curb stability, rhythm-based driving, qualities that match his strengths. McLaren expect the track to favor them, giving both drivers a chance to fight at the front. Piastri's job is clear: keep the championship alive into Abu Dhabi. That means maximizing sprint points, converting his grid slot in the Grand Prix, and avoiding the operational mistakes that hurt McLaren in Las Vegas. With Verstappen starting 6th in the sprint and Norris behind Russell, precision will be rewarded and panic will be punished. So heading into the sprint and the Grand Prix, one question defines the weekend: has Oscar Piastri truly begun his late-season revival? Or will this display of defiance only intensify the pressure? Pressure that could cost McLaren both championships in one of the closest title fights the team has faced in years?